We all set to go?
We're good to go.
Good to go. Hi, everyone. I am Renee Wister, and I am the Director of Development and Partnerships for Wreaths Across America. And I actually have a wonderful team underneath me that we work with some larger companies, and we want to, establish more of a resource to the groups out there, give some pointers that we have found to be very successful at, a higher level, and really bring it down to your community and really help you, make sure that you have a really great partnership, because I've really found that that's, really what has helped, continue relationships that we've been able to maintain over the years at a larger level. But first, we are really excited because we have a new team member at HQ. Joe Reagan is the Director of Military and Veteran Outreach. He's on the call. And you can see a little bit of the background for Joe. He's a veteran himself, Army Ranger. He has been really a key volunteer for Wreaths Across America for a couple of years now. Really brings a new outlook to the executive team, where he has had, his military background and what he has done after service as well. And I know that Joe is on here, so I'd love for him to just say hello, so you can put a face to the name and kind of go over his role a little bit more.
Well, thank you, Renee. Oh, wow. Thank you, Renee, and thanks to all of you. And I think it's the most important thing to say. I mean, as Renee mentioned, I've been in your shoes as a volunteer. My former agency was a fundraising partner of Wreaths Across America. So, understanding the deep logistics, and I can tell you, having been on board now for a couple of weeks, I mean, nothing happens in this organization without the hard work that all of you have put into it. So I sincerely appreciate, on behalf of everybody, all the effort that you're putting in to make this work, because it really couldn't work without you. As Renee mentioned, I'm an Army veteran. Hopefully you don't hold that against me. I only hold a grudge against Marines, so you have to deal with me on that one. Prior to this, I worked for Easter Seals, Maine. Prior to that, I did a lot of work in business and then also within the defense world as well. So I've kind of had a varied career, but coming to Wreaths is a great experience. Already just thrilled to be part of this organization. It really, when you see the impact that it has on the Gold Star families, service members, veterans, it's a huge impact, and I'm just so honored to be part of it, and honored to be working with you. And I'm going to throw a link in here in the chat. It's a social world, so I do a lot on LinkedIn. Would love to connect with anybody, and if I can be of any assistance to anyone, I think you can see my email is there, and then you can connect with me on LinkedIn as well. So thank you again, all of you, and look forward to working with all of you.
That was part of the hazing, to put your email right in that first slide. I was going to put your cell phone number, but I thought it was too soon. So, but Joe is going to be a real great resource for everyone. He really he's going to dive in working with organizations that support active duty and veterans. Also getting some resources for, just for help for our active duty members, if there's a place that we can help get people in contact with, that type of thing. So we all wanted to welcome Joe. And
if I can, one more thing that I forgot to mention, and thanks Susan for putting in there, that coming up at the end of the month on Wreaths Across America Radio, we'll be hosting our second roundtable. So Karen and I have been hosting these roundtables. You'll see it come out in the announcements, but we'd love to get that out there so more folks can be listening in and listening to some of the resources that are out there for veterans.
Yeah, and that's going to be on the iHeartRadio app, the Wreaths Across America Radio iHeartRadio app, and it's a really great conversation to be had. And the last one that they had was really broad around, Vietnam veterans and the Welcome Home campaign that we do. And I think it's just going to obviously grow. And with the new listenership with the Wreaths Across America Radio, that's a really great resource for not only us trying to get corporate sponsors, but for, at the local level, to be able to know what's going on with Wreaths Across America at the HQ level.
I am
So,
so impressed with all of your Wreaths Radio promotions, guys. Good job. I didn't even pay you. Good job.
I knew we were going to get in trouble if we didn't throw that in there. So,
good job.
But it is really good. If I'll give another pitch because, the stories that are told in the morning show and then just really good music throughout the day. So if you haven't tuned in, go ahead and do that. So again, my name is Renee Worcester. Just a little background on where I came from is I married into this family that started Wreaths Across America. I guess there's worse families to be married into, but we've been very fortunate to see, myself to see this organization grow and the people that we've met. And it's all due to our volunteers. And I think that's something that I found firsthand is how much this organization has grown due to you all on this call and those who aren't able to be on here. You have taken something that was so close to our heart as a family and brought it into your homes and communities and really have been an outlet for this mission that continues to grow and to remember, honor, teach. I also want to introduce Bree Kingsbury. She is the corporate development and community relations. We work hand in hand on developing relationships, but she's also been in some of your shoes as a sponsorship group. So I'll let her give a little bit more introduction to herself.
Okay, let me unmute myself. Hi, everyone. I'm Bree Kingsbury. And like Renee said, I started out as a sponsorship group leader for my group of friends. I live in Virginia Beach and I was married to a Navy SEAL. And during that time, we've lost over 40 friends. And as a way to be able to, really kind of honor and remember their legacy and the families that they left behind, we wanted to do something impactful that, would really help those families, all year, but especially at the holidays. And another Gold Star wife actually told me about Wreaths Across America, and I'm ashamed that I didn't know anything about it until 2012. And once she told me about it, we kind of just jumped in with both feet, and I've recruited pretty much anyone and everyone that I've ever talked to or come across or have a phone number for, an email for. And, so our team, Team Bear, was born in 2013. And then I formally came on board as paid staff for Wreaths Across America in 2017. So it's just been such a real honor to not only to be able to, really help honor and help kind of carry forward the legacy of my fallen friends, but now expand into the greater mission for all of Wreaths Across America. So it's a real honor to be here.
And both of our emails are right there. So let us be resources for you. And any questions, please reach out to us. If there's anything that we can do to help you at a community level, we would love to do that. So we'll just dive right in now. Something that I have found over the years, and it was actually something that was told to me by someone that wanted to partner with Wreaths Across America, that they always wanted it to be a two-way street. They never want it to be one-sided relationship. And so I found this quote: if you want to have a good partner, be a good partner. And it's something that I've always gone back to because shockingly, they weren't the best partner, but it just kind of stuck with me that I never wanted to be that one-sided type of relationship that we have with our corporate supporters. Because I think, where we do what Wreaths Across America is so great and it's growing so much that it's always, there's so many stories to be told, and that's such a great partnership, is just telling stories and to be able to share that within your communities. Obviously, partnerships and corporate support, in that, to be a good partner, will just continue the longevity and sponsorships and in turn volunteers and engagement, and that growth will happen the same way Wreaths Across America's growth has happened over the years. More people will know about it and want to come on and be a part of the greater mission. When I'm working, and Bree and I are working with different corporate supporters, we're always encouraging, employee engagement, because again, if the employees are engaged, the company will stay engaged. And there's so many different opportunities for engagement with the employees. Something that's really good for companies is to be able to utilize your sponsorship group page or your location page, that short URLs, because they can share that within their network to encourage employees. And then that's bringing in their personal touch, because if, you know, we all have a military tie, and it's able to create a personal connection. And again, that's going to bring them back year after year. They're going to be able to share it with their contracts, to their, you know, newsletter folks. And it's a nice way for a company to kind of take credit for other people's support as well. And it also is having that company be able to announce, like, this is an organization and a mission that we're supporting. Here's how you can do it too. So they're getting kind of the kudos as well. And then you can also invite these companies' employees to come, not only on Wreath Day, but you also, you know, location coordinators and groups also have that responsibility of receiving the wreaths. So have them come out and help you receive, count, because they're always looking for what's outside of just that Wreath Day. So help unloading wreaths and receiving them. Obviously, there's always Wreath Day, but then you have, you know, cleanup. Maybe there's some in-kind help that they can do. Maybe they have, you know, resources for, you know, the retirement of wreaths, for disposal, for recycling. They may know someone. So it's always good to have a conversation around the whole mission and understanding, and having them understand exactly what is outside of a Wreath Day. Maybe they want to host a fundraiser for you. Again, you know, that's something that they're going to get kudos for, is helping you along, and, you know, and it's helping the community that they're serving. Something else that was really helpful in some of these conversations that we've had is to be able to have, you know, be able to use the Wreaths Across America logo and to co-brand different merchandise. You're not going to want to have, you know, signs in your cemetery. You want it to be very respectful. So having companies, you know, share the mission on a shirt or a hat. You know, Walmart proudly supports our veterans in the Wreaths Across America mission. Very subtle. It's a conversation starter, and you never know where that conversation is going to go. You know, and it's just about that storytelling once you are able to go into the cemetery and get people involved in the community. And then, you know, you can invite these representatives of the company to be a partner in the wreath laying ceremony. Maybe they have someone on their staff that is a Marine veteran. Have them come and lay that Marine wreath. Again, that gives them another avenue of storytelling within their network of, you know, social media, newsletters, email campaigns that they will have. And Bree, jump in here anytime. I know I'll get long-winded here. So we've also, so that comes from our partnership, you know, really establishing a partnership. I'll harp on that a lot over the next, hopefully, half an hour. But that partnership, because, you know, you just want the longevity of this whole thing. The corporate team has actually created a PowerPoint that is really good to be able to be emailed. You know, you have a foot in the door, here's a great email. It's, you know, a great PowerPoint. It showcases a really good brief video to not just overwhelm someone with words. I could talk about Wreaths Across America until I'm blue in the face, but once I push play on our 4-minute video, on our 30-second video, and that those words come to life and picture, you have them hooked. You have that emotional connection that you know you all have had. I'm preaching the choir as far as that's concerned. But to be able to pass that emotional connection on to someone in a company or an employee. Public relations is also a great person to talk to. Corporate development teams. If you're looking into the trucking community side of things, dispatchers, that type of thing. We have created this PowerPoint so it's customizable to your location in groups. So there's a little example of it. You'll see the 2 X's with the highlights. So you'll be able to put in, you know, your group ID, your name, group ID, name, and your location that you're supporting. So all that information is in there. And then I also have a list of some benefits in there, which we'll look at in a little bit, but it just gives the whole package. I've also highlighted in there our reach that we have at a national level. And really what that is, and I know that we've talked about this before on the webinars, is that hyper local reach. It's working within the communities that we're serving, that you're serving, and really offering those stories to be told because it's relevant within your communities that you're engaging in. So we actually,
I have a question.
Yeah.
On the link, it's not work. Is it going to be working?
Well, this is because I'm sharing my screen. It does work. And so when the team shares the PowerPoint at the end, yeah, it will work. It will go to a Dropbox that you'll be able to download it and customize it.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah. Yep.
That's available on your web?
That will, Julie, you can chime in. I believe you send it around to everyone, or is it available to download?
Yeah, we can send it. We'll send out a follow-up email and we will include that link in there for you guys, along with the slides for this.
Yeah, we'll also be adding it to the location and group resources page, which we've sent out. We send out in every location connection that goes out every month, and it has all kinds of materials that can be downloaded and customized, but we'll add it to that page as well.
I'll also try to throw it in the chat as
I do have that, and I can do that right now.
Okay, good. I was gonna say I can't do it. I'll mess this whole thing up. So it is available. It'll be available multiple ways. And also, if you need help customizing it, reach out to, the liaisons will obviously have a copy of this, but also Bree, myself, and we can help you customize it, take some slides out if it's not relevant to what you're doing. So we have one volunteer that she always says do good twice. And it's a really great phrase for our sponsorship groups, because it really is, you're utilizing a $15 sponsorship to not only remember and honor a veteran with the actual wreath placement, but if you're a $5 back group, you're also, that company is also supporting your group as well. So, that $15 is not just placing a wreath. Now it's placing a wreath and supporting your group and the community. Again, your group is in the community that this company is serving. But also you can utilize, if you're a 3 for 2, you can also utilize it in just discussing the number of wreaths, that the tangible product that company is sponsoring. A really great number figure is, to date, Wreaths Across America has given back $14.6 million to our back groups across the board since Wreaths Across America was started. So, that's a really great number, and it's not just about placing wreaths, and obviously at that number, it's helped so many groups fulfill their missions as well. On this slide, you'll see what we have, point of sale. So this is the type of things, if you've been to, Walmart, and you've, they're asking you if you want to sponsor or do a March of Dimes for $1. So this is the same type thing. It's a wreath, and it comes in a bundle of 100 double-sided. It's very easy for you to go into like a hometown, a True Value, a Dairy Queen, any type of business that, would want to offer this to their customers. Again, they're getting their customers involved with these point of sale bundles. We have it for $1, $15, $5 and $15 sponsorships. So we really based it on, the full range of really for anyone to get involved with the mission. It's kind of customizable. So at the front, they can put who they're remembering and honoring. You can also, on the below the 2 wreaths, is this form that we had created to have at the register. So it's a little bit more understanding on where your money is going. So this wreath sponsorship supports, your location. And then a little invitation to come out on National Wreaths Across America Day and be a part of it. Again, this allows, that company to utilize their customers' support to maybe get a little bit more of a benefit. We use that a lot. Or it also is a great way for a company to do a matching campaign with their customers as well. So, if they're going to say they're going to sponsor $1,000, but maybe they can put it so they're going to ask their customers, for every $1,000 that the customers sponsor, we're going to match it. So it's just doubled the contribution.
Renee,
from,
can I ask a question about this point of sale? The QR codes that are on these bundles, do those go, where does that go?
that's a yeah, they're UPCs. So it's
I know, but
different than a QR. So
Oh,
it's,
got it. Okay.
yeah, so it's pretty much registered in this whole big, so Walmart would be able to scan it and it's associated with, okay, that dollar sponsorship is associated with Wreaths Across America. It's not necessary. So if you have a smaller company that, you know, doesn't have that type of system in place, then you still are able to do the $1, $5, $15 and be a part of it. And they're just going to run it through their system, just
So
like
if
any other product.
So if Walmart scans that, then it goes into the general fund, or where does it go?
No, it would be just like a product. So they would do it just like any, if you're checking out with you know, bananas or something like that.
Right.
It's the same type of system.
How would it get to my code?
Yeah, so it would have to be, you'd have to talk to that specific store, and maybe it's a monthly check that you would receive back. So you would be the point of contact.
Okay.
And then it would be your responsibility to follow up with them, whether it's, you know, every other week or every month, to get that allocation. And
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. So these are completely free to you to use in this bundle. You obviously get 100 of these Wreaths, or however many you feel like you would need. You would also get these registers and a little there's also a letter that would come with it, so you'd be able to leave it with the store. And so it's a really great opportunity for you all. And then again, in this, there's a downloadable form, so we can get your information, your address, and we can get them sent out to you at ASAP. And you know, if there's if you wanted to get 100, but that seems like too much for one business, split them up. They're very easy to tear apart and leave 25 with a company or a small business or that type of thing. Or if there's even, you know, if you're setting up outside of a Walmart or that type of thing, it's another great tool to use for, you know, just making it personal again. And even if you don't have a place to display them, it's a good reminder for them to take home as well. So, you know, if they give you $1, if they give you $5, you give them $7, you know, whatever that $10, you can have this piece of paper, tear it off. They can take it home, and it's a reminder of Wreaths Across America Day.
One of the things I do with this too, if I'm not going to a big store, but like in my dentist office, I take a thing to my dentist office, and I've made labels with my QR code on the back and put it over that, so that anybody can just scan it at the dentist office and go right to my page.
Oh, good idea. Yep. So it's always good, again, with that partnership opportunity, you know, if they're giving you a large sum of money, here's some things that you're getting back right off the top. Right off the top is for every $15, you're automatically, a wreath will be placed in your name. So if they're giving you $1,500, divide that out, that's 100 wreaths. So you have that tangible product, which is a lot different than a lot of other nonprofits, because when they're giving a donation, you're not really sure where all that money is going. With Wreaths Across America, for every $15, you know, a wreath will be placed. And then you can even talk to them about, okay, if you're a sponsorship group that's getting a payback, this amount of money is will be paid back to us from this sponsorship. And again, if you're 3 for 2, you know, that you can do the math, and whatever that is, X more wreaths will be placed on Wreath Day. If you do have social media, if you're using social media for your group or location, that's always a wonderful place to give, you know, a shout out. You know, you could always include their logo. I know Sam could help with any sort of, you know, mock-ups. She does some really great jobs as far as thanking corporate supporters. So with their logo, always ask for that. You know, you can share photos of their participation. If they're going out and they have a large group of volunteers coming to your event, you know, make sure to get a picture and put that up on social media, or if they do it themselves, you share it and just give a shout out, thank you. Another is check presentations. Those are always wonderful things to share on social media. Again, always, if they're posting, share it. If you're posting, make sure that they're sharing it or you're tagging them. And then always encourage your supporters and partners to follow Wreaths Across America social media pages as well, because there's so much content there to be shared. And it just is really highlighting, again, the relationship between that company and the organization, and just showing it's just very easy for them to share content and highlighting their support of Wreaths Across America. And is there a question? All right. Another way is to utilize local newspapers or digital, anything digital. Maybe it's a newsletter, maybe it's an emailing campaign, but highlighting it in something like that. We do it at a more national level. And for every sponsorship $5,000 or more, we highlight it in a national publication. And that's actually at the bottom here. There's a form that fills out that you can fill out if you do receive anything over $5,000. We would love to be able to highlight that not only in this national newspaper at the end of the year, and usually it's the beginning of the next following year after we get everything kind of wrapped up, but it also will put it on the website as well. So that's a really good, that's a big plus for anyone that's, maybe that does it $5,000, or they're thinking about, maybe they're thinking about $3,500, but $5,000 gets you on the national website, which is a lot of traffic. And in that PowerPoint that we'll be sharing, it shows you how many views and whatnot, and the outreach that we have. And again, check presentations and announcements of these partnerships on radio, television. They may have media buys that you can use as well. And I'm talking out of turn here, Amber. I don't know if she's shaking her head at me, but they usually have some media buys where they can highlight that as well. It's not always up to you as the volunteer to highlight that. It can be up to them. They can have some of that responsibility as well, because they have the resources. Again, this form down here, anyone that has a sponsor that gives over $5,000, let us know so we can, highlight that on the national level.
The links
then-
are being flashed. How do, I can't listen to you and then go to a link. So why are they
Well,
being?
Yeah, again, this will be forwarded out. This will be emailed to everyone, and then you can also download it online, and the links will be working there. I'm sharing my screen, so you can't click on it.
Jim, we've also put the links in the chat if that's something you'd like to do at the same time.
But this whole presentation will be available for you to use and download, and the liaisons will have it as well. So grants are also a really great way to get some funding, sponsorships, and volunteers for your event. But it is very difficult with a lot of these larger companies. Right off the top, that Walmart has changed their way of for grant submissions through Walmart, Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman. They've all kind of changed how they are doing their grants. So it's really imperative for communication between whoever is filling out the grant and the HQ finance team up here in Maine, because when they approve the check or the grant and they send the check into HQ, there's not a whole lot of information that's being shared on that. So it's always really important for the group that's filling out the grant to communicate with HQ finance. A lot of grants, especially if they're a little bit more substantial amount of money, will require some financial information, and it's always important to have that accuracy when you're definitely filling these out on behalf of Wreaths Across America. So again, if you're putting information that may not be completely correct, it may result in a denial of your grant, and also tarnishing really the Wreaths Across America reputation that we worked, you all work so hard to have out in the community. So it's very important, again, to just communicate and making sure someone at Wreaths Across America has seen it and signed off on the grant application. Most grants that I have done require an after action report. So it's really like an impact study showcasing, where the money went, how many volunteers may have come out, really what did they get for the grant money that they have awarded. And it's really essential because if you do not submit those after actions, it will put a hold on any grants in the future. So if if it's not something that you feel like you could do, just again, communicate with the HQ finance team or liaisons, and we'll be able to kind of give you, either fill it out for you or give you the information that you need. Something else that we really want to highlight is that there's no exclusivity as far as grants go. If a grant wasn't awarded to you one year, it's not assumed that is your grant all the way through to the future. So there's no real ownership. And so, if there's a Walmart in your community that supports multiple groups, it's not just one group's Walmart grant. So just keeping that in mind as well. So communication with the HQ and finance team, it's really going to be important to, let the team know like your username and password to be able to get into those grants, to just make sure that, again, all the information is accurate. We also are going to ask that the finance team reviews them as well. So same type thing, that's the reason that we need the password. And then an authorized WAA representative will need to sign off on it, just because there's some obligations as far as grants go. There's always some sort of obligation. And so it would be better for someone from the HQ level to understand, because it will come back up to the national level, the HQ, if there is anything that is off or inaccurate. So again, another one of these forms, I've learned my lesson. I'm not going to include form or links in this anymore, but it's going to be there for you when this is. So you can fill out the grant form. This is going to communicate not only with the liaisons, but also with the finance team. So it'll be really easy for you guys to have a one-stop shop there. Again, the real reason to communicate this information is when a grant is approved and a check is sent in, and it's an amount for this much, $10,000, and we can match it back up in making sure your group and location is getting the distribution of Wreaths and or payback. So that's really important. We've had some trouble there in the past where, just checks will come into HQ and then go into the big batch of unallocated Wreaths that we have, and when they really should have been associated with a group or location. So that was a lot of information on corporate and company engagement and relationships and partnerships. And I feel like I really got it done in a short amount of time for you guys. But so I'll open it up for questions as far as like corporate, company, any sort of tips that you may have, because I'm certainly not saying that I am the end all be all of knowing anything. But I have talked and worked with different companies and maintained relationships, but I know that you guys are the boots on the ground and you can probably teach me a thing or two.
I just want to add real quick that if anyone does t-shirts or any kind of apparel, hats or whatever for their groups or locations, if you want to put some of your sponsors' logo on the back of the shirts, make sure that you reach out to your point of contact with that company ahead of time, because some companies have certain company rules and restrictions for how their logos can be used. And, even if you use their logo the previous year, the design or colors or something might have changed, for this year. So just always make sure that you kind of get their permission and approval to use their company's logo on anything apparel wise or any, or really anything. It's just good. Always keeping good communication with your corporate sponsors or your local companies with things like that.
And actually, Bree, thank you for bringing that up, because I was going to make a note of that as well. please make sure that before you print any material like a t-shirt or merchandise that you check in with HQ to make sure the branding is proper for Wreaths Across America, because we actually have brand standards as well as these corporate partners. So you can reach out to your liaison, and if there's any question about any designs or anything co-branded, they'll send it to me to review, and we can make tweaks if needed. But that's important for the corporate partner as well as for Wreaths Across America to make sure our brand is correctly positioned in everything that we put out there. But that is a good one. Co-branded stuff is a really good one, and a lot of people like to be able to use our brand. So that's why we have to protect it to make sure it's the right one.
A little off topic, but I wanted to show you, we're all at Gold Star Kids Camp, thanks to Wreaths Across America fundraiser. So everybody going to say hello? Y'all say hi.
Hello.
Oh, hi.
That's awesome, Angela.
All right.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's so cool.
Thank you.
I see a hand up. I just can't see a name.
It's Michael Whitaker from Arizona.
Hi, Michael.
One of the things that I've been successful with, especially with corporations, is I kind of pitch them if they will sponsor at least 100 wreaths or $1,500, I'll give them their own table with a logo, and so they can turn into a corporate event. So the corporations show up with T-shirts and their own T-shirts and their own videographer and that stuff, and it's a team event.
Is that at the cemetery?
Yes.
Yep. Yeah, I would just urge that you communicate with your location, your cemetery director, and making sure that that's okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I do all.
absolutely.
But Northrop Grumman, PayPal, they've all done it that way.
For some reason, names are not popping up on mine, but there's another hand. Sheila.
Yes. You mentioned the corporate sponsors such as Walmart, Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, and all these other corporations that would be very interested in supporting Wreaths Across America. But it seems like those companies or corporations would be more inclined or more knowledgeable of headquarters Wreaths Across America. How can we get those corporations to recognize that they have, or to recognize some of our locations that also need their support in fulfilling the Wreaths Across America Day?
That is a really great question. Thank you, Sheila. And I should have probably highlighted that. So different companies of those sizes and that have different locations throughout the United States, when we work with them at the HQ level, we really typically try to push them down to a local level as well to be able to, again, engage their employees in the communities that they're serving. So you may not know it, but Northrop Grumman may give a national sponsorship, but they actually have a sponsorship page as well. And they probably bring in 5 times more money through, or sponsorships through their sponsorship page than their overall sponsorship as an HQ level. Same thing with like a Lockheed. They actually distribute their wreaths. They have one monetary sponsorship, but then they're breaking down the number of wreaths to the communities that they're serving. So a lot of them are doing that, and what we do at HQ is that we really try to get them within the communities, and then they're making those connections with you all in the volunteer aspect on Wreath Day.
We have Lockheed Martin and Northrop Grumman not headquarters, not national headquarters, but offices here, and each one of those corporations actually hands us a check.
Yeah, they're doing it a little bit different this year. I know Lockheed is, so just keep that on the forefront, because there was so many smaller ones, and I think they're making it easier for it to be distributed out from HQ. So, but I do know that there are some that, and I've talked to the my contact to ensure that if they're already supporting at a local level through a group or whatnot, that it continues like that, because there's no reason for it not to have the same pathway. It's just sometimes easier to work at an HQ level and then filter it down. So there's really one contact.
I would say that to respond to that question though, originally, the other piece of that though, if there's a local business that's in your community that you know is part of a larger entity, like let's use Lowe's or Home Depot or something for that, and you have talked to them at the local level and they say to you, well, this needs to go up the corporate chain, that's when you could reach out to Renee or Bree and say, hey, we have this local chain or store that's interested, but they want to go at the higher level. How can we maybe talk about that? And we can see if we have an existing contact that might be able to help on the local level.
Exactly. And especially where there's so, Home Depot and Lowe's is a great example. We tend to look at the overall participation, with these companies and really trying to figure out if we can, say, oh, well, your team members are supporting the mission in these 10 locations. How can we get an overall participation and really highlighting the work that you guys have done to be able to, to get all these stores participating? And 9 times out of 10, we're putting them in contact with the location coordinator to give more information and whatnot on Wreath Day and how you guys, facilitate your events. And Judy. Is that Judy Carlisle with her hand up?
This is Michael from Arizona. I had my hand up.
Hey, Michael.
I was gonna say, if you're looking for corporate resources, if you go to your local Chamber of Commerce website and for the board of directors, all the corporations are right there on the board of directors.
Yeah, that's a great, and a Chamber of Commerce in your town is a great opportunity too. Going to different events at your chamber, introducing yourself, what you're doing, inviting folks to National Wreaths Across America Day. That's always a great opportunity to make that first impression too. If they're on the fence, maybe it's not a monetary sponsorship that first year. Just invite them. That's how I feel, because I don't need someone to sponsor Wreaths and maybe not feel comfortable that first year. Maybe it's just come experience Wreaths Across America. And I also follow up because I guarantee you'll be back next year after experiencing it. So, it's it doesn't always have to be jumping in with 2 feet. Maybe it's baby steps and then just an invitation to come.
Yes, hi Renee, it is Judy. I do have a couple things for Sheila. Whenever the first year that I started and I went to Walmart, I actually had to teach the store managers about Wreaths Across America, because I know that they were already incorporated with you guys in Maine, but the store levels down here did not have a clue what Wreaths Across America was or what Walmart did for Wreaths Across America. So you really just have to go and teach them and show them, take a little book with a few pictures or whatever and tell them what you're doing. And they will jump on board in a flash when they know that Walmart is part of what we're doing with Wreaths Across America. They love it. So this year seems to be a little bit more difficult.
Mm-hmm.
They, well, I don't know. We haven't gotten word from corporate, and it's all over the COVID stuff and all that. There's some stores that are totally dedicated to Wreaths and they beg us to come. So we're going. But there's still some stores that are holding back just a little bit. But just go talk to the store managers and tell them what you're doing, and they will pretty much come on board with you.
Thank you, Judy.
Yes.
Thanks, Judy. Do you see any more hands, Amber, Julie?
No, I think we're good.
All right. Well, I think this is the first time I've had to hand anything over to my mother-in-law. She's usually handing it down to me. Just kidding here. So I'm going to actually introduce Karen Worcester. I think she's on.
Yep. Muted. You're muted, Karen.
I have this figure lurking over my shoulder here, which is a little distracting. Good night, dearest. Our founder in the background there. So actually, I think Renee knew she was going to run short and she just needed a filler on the end, basically. But I did have something I wanted to share with everybody. I know everybody's probably as excited as we are to see things starting to open back up and how wonderful it is to see faces and sometimes even get hugs and all that. And I want to thank everybody for above and beyond. I know I've done that before, but as an organization, we got through COVID, I think, with flying colors because of the dedication of the volunteers. This year, however, we're looking very much forward to getting back to doing everything on one day, Wreaths Across America Day, which is December 18th, and getting back to normal. And we've had a couple meetings, and I know it's funny to say that COVID had conveniences, but it did for some of the location coordinators, I'm sure, for the and we've talked about some of them, like I can't remember who it was that said that they had people drive through and they just passed them the wreaths and it solved the parking problem, or doing the Gold Star families on a different day or things like that. And what I want to talk about is how important it is that we bring people back together, because at the very bottom of what grows Wreaths Across America, it isn't about decorating graves. And having gone to Arlington since 1992, the family can tell you that what we've learned about what makes Wreaths Across America work, we've learned from the other people, the other families, the stories that we hear at the cemetery. I know in particular when we were talking to Arlington one time, they were having a fit because they wanted us to turn it more into a logistics piece so that the wreaths got put out in a certain length of time. And so they were talking about actually doing like a fire bucket brigade of handing out the wreaths, because they were looking at it as a logistics thing to put the wreaths down. And it really took a little bit of talking on my part and my team's part to have them understand that it's very impactful for a family with two little kids to be standing with a Gold Star mother behind a truck waiting for a wreath, and getting to really understand why they were there. Not just to place a wreath down, but to actually make a connection and understand what real sacrifice is. So we're really looking forward to going back to embracing each other and making it, you know what, I know it's harder, it's going to be harder, but we don't want it to get easy. You know, we've had some times in the past when people have stepped away and said, for instance, they were going to do plastic wreaths. And so they went and got plastic wreaths and they covered their cemetery with plastic wreaths. The first year they had a whole bunch of people show up and put them out. The next year, not so much. And then the plastic wreaths looked a little weather beaten, and then they had to have new bows. And then by the third year in, there were a few caretakers putting wreaths out. And that's not what we're doing. And the most important thing, and I think especially now, if we look at the opportunity that we have as an organization to really make the most important piece of our mission, which is teach, the most important piece of our mission. And I had opportunity over the last few months to talk to a Medal of Honor recipient, some Gold Star families, some veterans. And my question I always ended with was, what's the message for the country? What do we need to do most? And the answer across the board was that we need to teach our kids to love our country. And the most important thing that we can teach them, and the easiest way that we can endear them to our country, are through the stories of the people that served, the sacrifice, and to introduce them to the families. Because I will tell you, and I know there are Gold Star families on this call, or Blue Star families, there are veterans, your stories and your sacrifice followed up by your continued love for the country is the best example that we can give them. So we need to come together. So I know it's going to be a little tough getting things back in line. We're going to have to, you know, we're going to have to walk the walk, talk the talk, but I hope that everybody will understand just how important it is that we come back together and we pull people together. Because what always makes my most memorable things when I leave the cemetery is when I've seen a family together and see them teaching and see them interacting. And for Marl and I, it's always those families that we meet. I've said a million times about the family with the little boy with the runny nose and the mom that wanted me to see how he placed his wreath differently, because instead of placing his wreath on his daddy's grave up against the stone, he had it laid flat on the top because it wanted it to be different for his daddy. And if I didn't have if I didn't have the memories of all of those things, and I didn't learn something every single time. I gave a tour today, and I talked about the fact that Gold Star Mother one time told me, you know, because people would be afraid to mention her son to her. And she said, she looked right at me. She says, you don't have to worry about reminding me my son is dead. My son died, service to country. I have to worry about reminding you. And that's why we come together. And that's why it's important that I understand that it's a different experience when they don't have to worry about parking and they don't have to do all that. But if we can make those families understand that they've given so much, but they still have something to give, and that is to make a real connection with the people coming out to the cemetery, so they walk away with a personal connection. So I just wanted an opportunity to share that, because I know some of you are talking to the cemeteries, and most of them are opening back up. It looks like Arlington's going to be going back to status quo. But if you need to have something to tell them, then that's the most important thing that I would ask you to share. And it dawned on me today, and I actually wrote this down for Renee, and she actually copied it, which makes me feel good. But it dawned on me that the greatest teach opportunities truly come from our learning experiences, and the most valuable experiences with Wreaths Across America and with life in general that I've had are from being with those people in that cemetery and have an opportunity to talk to people and see in real life what the cost of freedom and sacrifice is. So I hope that we can all get our mindset going to not make this a logistics thing. It has to be in the background, but on the forefront, it's about coming together. And just as Roger Donlin told me flat out, we need to teach people to love our country again. And the best place to ever teach that is on the sacred ground that we cover every December. So I just want to thank everybody, and end with that.
Oh, we have a hand raised again.
Yeah.
Thank you, Karen.
I think we had Keith.
No, I was just saying thank you.
She was talking about the children. One of the things we do for the children is that I take a section of the cemetery where the vets are at, and I go through and I collect all the information I can off the headstone, name, rank, years service, campaigns, whatever. Then I go home and make a card game, and I take information out of the information I've gotten. I make these card games for the kids. So when the kids show up, they have to take a game card with them, and they have to find the cemetery, the headstone, and fill in the information that's missing. And then Wendy's actually gives out blue books in October. You get 5 Frosties for $1. So we buy a bunch of Frosty coupon books and give them to the kids for completing the game. And of course, they're dragging their parents with them as well. So they're learning about veterans as we present the program.
What a great
You
idea.
write that down. Somebody wrote that.
That one's a good one to share with us, Michael. And
I love that. I just sent, I sent my team, because a few years ago, we talked about how great it would be to actually have like a baseball card thing. And there are actually templates available already. So that is a great idea, Michael. Thank you for sharing that. And Renee, I hope you wrote that down, right? You did, right?
This is being recorded.
Oh, we're Karen.
So I think, we're a little bit early, which actually, we're not that early. Does anyone else have any other questions? Bree, anyone else from the team? Joe, anyone have anything else they want to add?
I'm just curious which location, Michael Whitaker, Mr. Whitaker, which location do you support?
Valley of the Sun Cemetery, Mortuary in Chandler, Arizona.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you, Renee. And like we said, we'll send this around to everybody, and we will have all the links because there's all kinds of forms in there.
There is. Lesson learned.
Yeah.
Folks.
I was just going to say, Michael, I'll have to stop by. I just moved to Arizona over here in Gilbert. So,
wonderful. I live right here in Chandler, right next door here in Chandler. So if you'll go, do you want me to send you my email address and phone number?
Sure.
Okay.
Hey, Harry, where's the shirt? I mean, come on.
I swear to God,
Would you sell it on eBay? What?
Karen, I swear to God, I had on your shirt today.
I have it.
What did I do with it? I had it on here. I had to take it off. But I had your shirt on. I will be wearing it up when I see you in July.
All right. I'll expect you to get a tattoo next time, and then it will just stay with you.
Well, thank you all for joining us. Julie, are you all set?
Renee, I have one question.
Yeah.
So do you add it just to the YouTube channel, or do you send it out? You know who the recipients were and you send out directly the recording? I missed the beginning. That's why I'm asking.
We'll send it out to everyone, every group leader and location coordinator, even the ones who didn't join, they're going to get blasted with this anyways.
Okay. Thank you.
And any questions, all of our emails are in there as well. So let us know. And if you needed any like one-on-ones or help customizing any the PowerPoint in there, let us know that as well.
I do have one more question. So the ceremonial wreaths, the group that you are the location coordinator is supposed to purchase those, right? Or get those sponsored?
No, those are free. Those
Oh.
are free. The ceremonial wreaths. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So Renee, I forgot to mention that when I did my introduction that while I am part of HQ, I am not physically located in Maine. So for those of you that are out west, I live in Colorado Springs. So like I said, we're spreading across the country. And if you are in Colorado, I was just down in Arizona this past week. So feel free to reach out and say hello.
Well, great. Well, thank you all for joining us tonight. And again, let us know if you have any questions or follow-up.
Thank you.
I have one item. I can't find the raise a hand thing anywhere.
That's all right.
I had, last year 2020 was my first one. And I actually had 3 Merchant Mariners attend my ceremony and place the Merchant Marine flag and the POW flag. I went on the Academy website. I found the alumni group, and they have a by-state list of all the Mariners across the country. And when I sent it to the South Carolina guy, I had multiple people wanted to participate. So if you're looking for Merchant Mariners, go to the Academy website and the alumni, and you'll be able to find actual Merchant Mariners to come participate in your ceremony.
That's great advice. Thank you. Looks like Judy may have another question.
I just want to say 2 things, Renee, across the Wreaths Across America. First of all, thanks to Logan for taking care of the wreaths that we got last weekend for the military service at church. If you guys haven't seen the pictures, what they did at CBC here in San Antonio last week on our Wreaths Across America San Antonio page on Facebook, it was incredibly amazing. They did a great presentation for military. They had little tabs for people to put their loved ones' names on that have been lost. And we had wreaths. The wreaths were just hung in perfect harmony. And the wreaths were covered in little tags with people's names on them. And they were even hanging them on the service wreaths that went along with the loved one's military branch. So thank you, Logan, for everything that you did to make sure that we got those wreaths. It was incredibly amazing. And then one other thing that I need to say thank you to the whole Wreath family is for all the prayers and the special thoughts and all the love that we received for my son. John is doing okay, but he's still not perfect where he needs to be. So the prayers and the special messages and everything that I got from everybody, I can't thank everybody enough for all of that. It was incredible. And I cannot even share the appreciation that John had, plus what we had all the prayers to get him through all the COVID mess from January. And he even had a procedure last week. So thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Wreaths Across America truly is my heart. So thank you to everyone for all the love that you've shown to us for John.
We love you, lady.
Yep.
Give him a
Love
hug,
you
Judy.
too, baby girl.
We'll keep them coming, Judy.
Thanks.
I just looked up your photo that you were referencing about all the different service branch flags and the tags hanging off of them at your service. That is a beautiful photo.
Wasn't that amazing, Bree? They did such a great thing, and we did the flags over on the wall, and then they did this huge thing out in the middle. It was incredible. And so, how would you guys like to have those tags in Maine?
Oh, that would be great.
I will
Would love to put them in the museum. Yeah.
I will bring them when I come inside, because they've got them all set aside for me. And I said, just let me see. We'll do something. I don't know what. I'll buy a tree if I have to put it up there up against the wall or something. But it was amazing. And it really was incredible how the presentation that they did. And we were able to set up a table at the church and give out flyers and stuff to let everybody know that they can mail their request into us. It was incredible last weekend. It was weekend before, it was absolutely wonderful.
Thanks for sharing, Judy.
We do have Kathy's had her hand raised for a few minutes, so I want to try to give her a second to get a question.
There you go. Can I speak? Is it okay?
Yeah.
Kathy from California. I have a question. It pertains to, I believe there's like a ceremony in July in Maine where where you can adopt a tree and have a tag placed on a tree. I heard about that through Don Queenie, because I've coordinated with him through the ET vehicle, and do that kind of ceremony again.
Yeah, that's an ongoing. Yeah, that's ongoing. So on the website on wreathsacrossamerica.org, if you go to, I believe it's special events and remembrance tree program and put in your information, we'll have those dog tags made. And if you are coming to Maine, there's a spot on that form again to say that you'll be coming to Maine to place it, or if you want to volunteer to place it.
Okay, but I heard there's something about there's a special ceremony where the family, if you get invited to, or something special thing where there's almost like an intimate thing where there's a dinner or something, or I don't know. I was told something along those lines. I'd be coming all the way from California, and they said they could help with where to stay and stuff like that, because that's a long distance for us. We're in Monterey.
Kathy, can you reach out to your liaison, Megan, and we'll get you all the information you need for that.
Oh, perfect. I will do that.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Okay.
No problem. Thank you.
Awesome.
And for clarity, the Remembrance Tree program it's ongoing, like Renee said, all the time, and there's no cost for that program. And if you just look at under events, I believe you said, Renee.
Yeah, Logan just put the link. It's on our website. You can go, it's right on our main website. Anyone can do it and sign up anytime. We have over what, Karen? Over 10,000 dog tags on the
yeah, there's well over 10,000, because we have one grove in particular that is 8 acres with a tag on every tree, and there are several thousand just in that one grove. It's closer to 20,000.
One last question. Since I'm from California, what's the best time to come to Maine there?
Not right
February. Not February.
not right now, not February. No, really anytime, Kathy. It gets a little bit more hectic getting into October, November, December, but I don't think there's a bad time, especially if you're coming from California.
And we do, like, if you're a location coordinator, if a location coordinator finds himself coming to Maine for a visit, please let us know ahead of time, because there is a lot to see, a lot of things that monuments and different things that have been done in association with Wreaths Across America. And we would love to take the time to get a chance to meet Mauro and tour the museum. And we really do feel that your extended family, this Wreaths Across America has that feeling all across the country because of you folks and your ties to your home community. So we want to help and embrace you in any way we can. And we're just, we're all regular folks. And I always say we just connect the dots. So we love to meet as many of you as we can in person, for sure.
I think Michael has another question.
Yeah,
I love
I was
having
saying,
the opportunity, the Wreaths vehicle, the mobile vehicle. I was involved with three different locations in California. I coordinated with Stefan and Jennifer to 2 locations in California and a 3rd one. So that was really amazing experience. I loved it. It was so. I think they need to publicize that vehicle more, because it's quite an experience for people to learn, as you said, teach about Wreaths. It was awesome. Loved it.
Kathy, it sounds like we'll need more than one then, because that is packed. That schedule is packed. So I'll let Dawn know that you request that we get another one. All right, Michael.
okay, yeah, I was going to say that during our ceremony, for the wreath honoring, I typically get a active duty service member from the local recruiting stations, and I get veteran friends or corporate sponsors that are veterans they escort the wreath up together. One year I had 2 Navy veterans married to each other, plus a sailor do it as well. And I'll say that this year we're very lucky that we have Jack Holder. I don't know how people know Jack Holder. Jack Holder is one of 3 people in Arizona that survived Pearl Harbor, went on to Midway, went on to Guadalcanal, transferred over to Europe, did Europe. And when he speaks for us this year, he'll be 100 years old.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
All right, we know we kept you over the hour limit, but thanks for staying, everybody. And I hope everyone has a good night. Randy already went to bed like a half hour ago. So hope everyone has a great night.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you very much for having this.
Thank you.
Thanks for all the information.